let's see what we can do. If you walk in, well, I don't have this, and do you need this? It starts, it'll take you longer to go through the process. Yes.
Website, one slide.
Sure. It's, all our websites is sba.gov/, and if you do NYNY, you'll get to our micro lenders. So.
All this is in the book?
All that's in the book, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if you do sba.gov/NY, it'll tell you all our banks for all our programs. And if you just do sba.gov and you put your zip code in, it'll bring you to our New York homepage. So. If anyone's interested in international trade, we also do international trade loans. So I said we have a bunch of loan programs for different purposes. I'm happy to talk more about that, or you can go on the website or talk to one of our counselors. It's similar to the 7A program. We do loans from $0 to $5 million to help small businesses do more international trade, most likely exporting. Usually people who export to one country don't know how to export to 2, 3, or 4 countries, and a lot of these are focused on trying to get our goods out across the country from small businesses. We have a lot of trade missions with China that are always looking for small business product from here in the United States, so we do a lot through this program, and we also offer similar assistance, similar to our 7A program that I talked about. If you're looking for venture capital financing, so if you're looking in the venture world, we also are the fund of funders. We have 40 funds sitting here in New York City that actually fund different small businesses, and their purpose and their entire mission is to fund small businesses through venture capital. And that's also on our website. And it's a VC, it's a traditional venture funding agreement. So you would go to the fund, present your case, and they'd look about doing the funding agreements, and they take an equity position. The SBA actually just funds them so that they're able to go do that, with their primary focus being on small businesses. This is kind of boring, but hey, we increased the size of what a small business is. It's now up to $15 million in net assets and $5 million in net worth. Just so you know, that before it was at $7 million, so we've doubled the size. So we're trying to encourage more small businesses to get out there and allow more people to do that. And the other part of it is we're actually, if you already own and occupy your real estate, and it's not under an SBA loan, on March 15th, we're allowing people to refinance under SBA, which we've never done before for a real estate property. And the rules are actually coming out tomorrow. We're having a press release about what properties are available, but really it's looking to see if you already have a mortgage with another property lender and it's not an SBA, you would go under that 50-40-10 program. So we would take 40% of that property value up to $5 million. And if that wasn't enough, the Department of Treasury has a new program that's coming out that's looking to get more community banks involved, because what we find out is a lot of traditional banks are out there, but we were trying to get more of the community approach so that people can form a relationship with their banker. So the Treasury has gotten a fund. It's a $30 billion fund. $55 million is going to the state of New York. And in that, we're looking to, they'll be doing about $553 million in lending over the next 3 years. So it's a brand new fund. The banks haven't been selected yet. They're actually going through the application process to get the money from the Treasury. But probably about May, June, you'll start seeing a lot about the new banks that they've had that also will be doing similar programs to the SBA. So that's all our lending programs. And there are actually, believe it or not, there are like 4 or 5 more, but those are the big ones that most people are interested in. Like I said, if you have a particular interest in something else, I can talk about it. The other, just to give you a quick overview of what else we do, I was talking about the government contracting, and we actually have a program that looks at getting set aside. So that means we set aside contracts, we set aside values of contract that only certain firms can compete in that are small businesses. And the only way to get it certified for those programs are through the SBA. So one of them is our, which I'm going to bring up, called 8A. Again, guess what? It was under the regulation 8A, and it's to help small disadvantaged businesses. And we usually it looks at minority, women-owned businesses, as well as other also service-disabled veterans, as well as service-disabled people, to help them get ability to compete on contracts. And the way it works is it's sole source. So if they try to match the contracting opportunity with the 8A firm, and you don't compete against the Staples or the Apples or anything. You compete against businesses similarly typed as yourself, And the reason is we're trying to actually encourage these programs. It's a 9-year program to encourage small businesses to do government contracting and then to graduate them to become bigger. The other one we have is our Hub Zone, which is in an under-urban utilized area. As you can imagine, we have quite a few in the city, and those contracts are to help the economic development of that area. And it looks at having a company based there that employs 35% of the population from that area to ensure that they also get government contracts. And that doesn't have, that's a forever long program. So if you're in a Hub Zone and you win a contract, you continue to win that contract. So these are programs that we have to actually set aside and help small businesses amongst all the other programs. And we just announced last week our women-owned small business. There's 83 industries where women have historically been disadvantaged, and we're looking to help them also. So we'll have a new set-aside program which gives $3 million in normal contracts and $5 million in manufacturing. And it's self-certification, so you do it online through our ccr.org, which is our contract registration database. And starting in April, we'll be awarding contracts to women-owned small businesses that are affected in these 83 categories. So that's great. It's taken 10 years to get that law passed, so we're pretty excited. And then our business counseling and training. We have 12 small business development centers in the city of New York, and they are actually with educational institutions. And they are there. They give free advice and counseling. They also do classes. They do seminars on all sorts of topics like social media, marketing, how to write a business plan, how to look at financial statements, financial literacy. And all those centers are listed on our website. So like I was saying, if you go to sba.gov, type in your zip code, it'll pop you up to our homepage, but it'll also say here are the centers closest to you. We also have women-owned business centers. We have 5 of them in the city, which actually look at helping women entrepreneurs, but it are also open to men, because I don't want to go there, but it might be closer to you. And they also have different classes. And then we have SCORE, which are retired executives, no longer, most of them are not retired, who help small businesses. One chapter sits in my office at 26 Federal Plaza, but there's also one here in Brooklyn. And they're there to also help. And one of the things I say in New York, we're very lucky, because we get some of the entrepreneurs who've been there and done that and actually can sit down with the business and say, have you thought of this? Because when I was an entrepreneur, this is what happened. And I always like to say, like, the guy who did the marketing campaign for the Sony Walkman is a SCORE counselor. So I'm kind of like, wow, so you were Sony's head of marketing for like 10 years? He's like, yeah. So you can imagine some of the tricks that he has up his sleeve. So I always encourage people to go, even if you just want to have a conversation, you're thinking about starting a business, it's great to get someone to be a sounding board and develop that relationship, because it is lonely being an entrepreneur and trying to start a business, and you got payroll and you've got to figure out how to get to your next bid or job. And to have someone who you can say, hey, does this make sense, the path I'm going? Do you think I can get financing? Because some of the things they do tell you is not right now, so what else can you do to put in here to pony up? Or you might say, yes, you can, and here are the banks. Let's look at your application. So, and it's free, and it really is free. You go once, you go 20 times, you go 30 times, it's free. We don't ask for money. It's part of what we do with the Small Business Administration to get that out there. And they know all our programs. So if you had more questions, they'd be able to look at them. Exciting. And the last thing we do is disaster assistance. It's the only time the SBA makes direct loans, but like I said, it's under presidential declared or gubernatorial declared disaster, and we come in and we actually do, it's the only time actually we also do small business loans to nonprofits. We do it to homeowners, nonprofits, and small businesses, and we look at that to help the economy in that community to recover over a disaster. So like for Hurricane Katrina, for the BP oil spill, we had some floods in Long Island. We also had some floods in Queens. We actually come in and actually give direct loans. And it's the only time, normally our loan programs go straight through the bank. So if you see a disaster declaration, actually what we do is we set up a site near the declaration site to actually come in. We have a whole team of people who come in and actually help process the loans on site. It's definitely advertised, but normally you'd go through your bank or work with one of our counselors to get to our loan programs. And I kept talking about the SBA.gov site/NY. That's our website. Also on there is free online courses on a myriad of items such as online marketing, financial statements. We also have 20 different versions of business plans for free. There's a lot of resources. Also, our calendar events and different seminars we do are on there. As I said, everything that we do is free. So I know we have an event coming up in a few weeks with the IRS about small business tax credits. That's all on our website, and also talks about, and on March 30th, we're having a listening tour where we're talking about the Small Business Jobs Act and how that affects and impacts small business owners. So we do a lot of information, and it's on our website, and I would encourage you to go look at it. Also, all the resource partners I talked about and where their addresses are and their contact number. So it's not just, okay, here's a list, even my phone number and my email's on there. I'll warn you now, I'm never at my desk, so but if you email me, because my BlackBerry's always with me, I tend to respond. So everybody keeps calling my desk, I'm like, I'm never there, but you can keep calling, because by the time I figure out it's Friday at 5 o'clock, but if you email me, I have that with me all the time. So and all that information is right on our website, because that's it's the easiest for people to get to, and it's also